Yellow and eye patch. Toppings what? Toppings included. I've been one of those awesome like bagels with onions. I don't know what they call. They're like, they have like fried onions, not fried onions, they're like grilled onions on the bottom of them, and I would have like strawberry cream cheese. Ew! Don't judge me! It's a bagel! You may have whatever bagel you like. Those are mine. I see waving a flag, Italy, go for it. My favorite accent that I do? That one. I speak falling stick. The French accent is really fun. And it comes in handy a lot. True story, so another time I went to Canada, I went to Montreal, which is French Canada, it's Quebec. And they speak French primarily, but they do speak English, so if you go, it's a good idea to know a little bit of French, just because it's a nice thing to do. You're visiting their country, at least be able to say bienvenue or something. So I thought, well, I'm fluent in French, but I haven't used it in a long time, so let's beef it up for a little while before I go to this con, that way I can be like French the whole time. I did, and the minute I was on the spot, get off the plane, go through customs, get out, and there's the liaison waiting for me, and she introduces herself and says, bienvenue, bonjour, and my first ridiculous instinct is not to speak in French, but to speak in English in a French accent. For some reason, my response was, thank you so much, it's good to be here. I am so sorry. Her response was, we'll talk. Later, I proceeded to get more comfortable in the accent, in the language, and was fluent by the end of the weekend, but man, I'll never forget that. Sir, you. If France replaced Sebastian in Black Butler, I think it would be 3 episodes long, because CL would get killed. CL would be like, Sebastian, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And he's like over there at a wine bar somewhere. You're like, oh my god, my master is so stupid. I can't even tie his own shoes. Oh. That's so funny. Grell, standing up in the back. Oh, I don't sing. I can't. So no, I can't. I can't sing. What? Hey! They're talking. Let them talk. Back. Give me the gum. Okay. What were you saying? In France, I just did. I can do the France laugh for you. Can you tell me a knock-knock joke? Tell me a knock-knock joke. Who's there? I don't get it. But I laugh anyway. Worst French accent ever. You, black shirt on the aisle. Yeah, you. Just point to yourself. Oh yes, I was actually a big fan, still am a big fan of Seven Samurai and also Rashomon and all the other films. Like, he's a brilliant filmmaker and his stuff is seminal. So yeah, when Bevins came to me with that, he was like, oh, so it's based on this? I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Which made it very hard to turn down originally, but yeah. Then I got to that with, love me some Samurai, some Seven Samurai. So, and you had a second part? Good question. Show of hands really quickly. Who here has an interest in being a voice actor specifically? Okay, now keep your hands up for a moment. No. Among those of you that have your hands up, be honest with me here. Who here wants to be a voice actor because you want to be an actor, like you want to be like a stage or a film actor, but you just don't think you could cut it, so you think of voice acting. Well, that I can do. Anyone here that kind of looks at it that way? Because some people do. All right, so let me explain. You can put your hands down now. Thank you for being honest. So let me explain something to you. Acting in general is a very tough business. It's fun to do, it's a great craft, but being able to make a living doing it is one of the hardest things you will ever experience. And before you get into any kind of acting as a profession, you need to be very realistic about what the life is like. There are no riches. If there's fame, it comes at a price. It always does. Most of the time, it's not going to lead you to very much, but next gig, you'll work here, you'll do some commercials, you'll do some stage, you may be an extra in a movie, something like that. That's the reality for most people that get into acting. I'm not trying to, rain on your parade and be like, dream small, but just be realistic. So the thing about voice acting is, when I hear people say, I don't want to be a voice actor, I'm very flattered, of course, and from my own experience, it's a fun job. If you can get the work, it's really cool. But in the grand scheme of things, saying that you want to be a voice actor professionally is a little like saying you want to be an architect so that you can design doors. My metaphor is meant to impart to you the fact that acting is the key word of voice acting, and all of us who are in this business as voice actors are actors who do all sorts of stuff, and voice acting is only one part of what we do, because we have to cast our net as widely as possible in order to make a living, because the work is sporadic. It's not like you go to Funimation and you get cast in that show and then it's going to be easy street. No, once that show's over, what next? You may not get another part for a while. You may have to wait some tables or work wherever, supporting yourself for a little while before you finally are generating enough income from the voice acting work you do. And that can taper off at any moment, because anime, as we all know, is usually only 1 or 2 seasons, and then that's it. It's not like prelay stuff where you go down to LA or Vancouver, where most of that stuff is done. That can last for years and years and years. But even so, you have to be. Most of us have agents. It's a really good idea to have an agent because they can get you auditions, and they have contacts, and they can put you on this. Oh, here's this commercial. Here's the commercial. So it's important to be realistic. And the thing about it, everyone that wants to be an actor loves the art and the craft. Loves the idea of being able to embody another character and be possessed by this story and get to tell it. That's the appeal. The thing that most people who want to be actors don't focus on, which is really about 70% of the business or of the art, is the business side of it. There's an ugly, sometimes boring business side of it that you have to work on yourself. Acting is not like a 9-to-5 job where you show up and you punch a card and you have someone telling you what to do. It's up to you where you go, who you audition with. It's up to you on the contacts you make and the networking you do. It's up to you to keep your career balanced, and it's up to you to give your career its trajectory. It is completely up to you. That is a very harsh experience and a very weird reality for some people who are used to working in a job where basically you're kind of a cog in the wheel. Nothing wrong with that kind of work. It can be very satisfying, and in fact can free you up to have some great hobbies. When you're acting, that's your whole life, because every waking moment you're focused on what's my next gig, what's this, or what's my current gig, who do I need to call today, what do I need to audition, what do I need to, it's constant. And it can be grating, it can be difficult, so just be realistic about it. If you want to be a voice actor because you think you want to be an actor, but you can't cut it as a more traditional stage or film actor, let me warn you that voice acting as a craft is much, much harder than any of the other kinds of acting. Because think about it for a moment. The great acting teacher, Sandy Meisner, who I follow religiously, said that acting is essentially living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. Living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. When you're on stage or in front of a camera, bringing a role to life, there's a lot there to help you make that imaginative reality real for you, and so that you can then deliver it to the audience. You have costumes, you have other actors, you have sets, you have all sorts of things. Voice acting, you have none of it. You have your voice. And it's not just your voice, it's your voice doing the job of your entire body, which is different than just getting in front of a mic and saying words. You have to be able to sound like you're running, or like you're fighting, or like you're motion. You have to communicate all of it, but your voice is all you have. And things that you would normally rely on, like say if I'm crying on stage, I don't have to utter a sound. The way I'm standing or moving can communicate to an audience. I don't have that. I don't have that with it's just my voice. So it's much, much harder, because it's essentially like being a master carpenter and being told to build a house using only a hammer. So for those of you that want to get into voice acting as a kind of last resort, because you think it's an easier kind of acting, or it's a good way to start acting, Don't. The best place to start acting is always and forever will be the stage. So find a workshop. You don't have to go to school and get a fancy degree if you want to. That's awesome. But go, it's a community thing. It's something, it's an art form you can only really learn with other people in real time. You can't do it in front of a mirror because it's all about communication, about evoking emotion by being part of a greater dynamic, the drama. So you need to learn that by being on stage in a workshop with people who will give you real advice. So pursue it. For those of you that want to be voice actors, awesome. Best of luck to you. Be actors first. Because if you've got a grounding in that art, everything else will come. So thank you. That's my advice there.